Yahoro minasan, this is Yuki, and this is my video part 2 about free Otome games in mobile, and now I'm going to tell you about games that I played, especially in university, or slightly before. So the first game I'd like to mention is Ayakashi Romance Reborn, which is about the main girl having Onmyoji powers, like awakening her Onmyoji powers and being able to speak to spirits and also Ayakashi, and using her newfound connections in order to defend her country from evil and corruption. Back when I started playing it, it had only 5 romance-stable characters. Now it has 16 characters, which is a large variety of personalities, situations, powers. And I think this gives you a chance to pick whoever you like depending on your mood, depending on your taste, depending on a variety of things. Maybe you are just simply curious about character they have never ever met before. So I think this is a really good point. Also, it is a Voltage game, and Voltage is very well known for their good storytelling and also for their good art. And this year they are releasing 4 new Otome games on Nintendo Switch, and I'm gonna leave that up for another video. Now I would like to move on to Obey. I think you might have already heard about it, or I might have already told you about it. Well, if you have been a close friend of mine. So Obey Me is based on story of where you as the heroine going back from high school get transported to the underworld and doing an Erasmus Plus semester in the underworld, basically, literally. And in the semester they want you to teach demons about the fragility for human beings and also make them more empathic toward the humans in some ways, if I may put it that way. And you have the character of Lucifer, Mammon, Leviathan, Satan, Asmodeus, Beelzebub, and Belphegor. So at first, these demons, they try to scare you, they try to put you off, they try to convince you to go back to your human world. However, you discover that you are dealing actually with an idiot demon who's so greedy and who just wants money, but he's so bad at studying. Whatever he tries, he's so bad. In Discovery, you have to solve a father-son relationship between Lucifer and Satan, and yeah, here they are like brothers, but not really. And I think this is something related to biblical interpretations. And then you have a geeky Belphegor, who's all the time in his room and playing video games. Asmodeus is all about his looks, and he's gonna try to make you pretty. Beelzebub is all the time eating, and Belphegor, well, to put it simple, he tries to kill you. Well, this is not exactly a spoiler because you're gonna see that from the very first chapters. And also there was a sequel to Obey Me called Obey Me Night Harbinger. But I didn't play the sequel yet because I didn't finish the main story yet in Obey Me. It's a bit long, like I may say it's like around 40 chapters or something, but there are a lot of small mini games in the game itself. And there are a lot of events going on, characters' birthday, hangout events, messages, calls. So it's a very loaded game, you're gonna be always busy, and unless you are so determined, it's really hard, I think, to actually finish it. And I don't think that there is a point in finishing it at some point because like Nintendo Switch games, you don't really have to choose one route and you don't have to choose one character to date because that's not an option. Basically, you start romancing all of them simultaneously. You might have a preference, but that's not like gonna strictly change how the game is going. So now we move on to the next one I'd like to speak about is Wannabe Challenge. And Wannabe Challenge, you are here a rebellious young girl in her early 20s. You are a very famous model and you're trying to start like to grow with your career at your own with your own effort without the help of your mother who's an ex-model, and so you try to run away from home. And in order to sustain your newfound freedom, you try to find some roommates in order to rent an apartment. However, the people she found who will be renting with her an apartment are actually not very much up to the definition of normal because 3 of them are actually goblins and one of them is a fox. The goblins would be Tehe, the black-haired one, and then Biho, the red-haired one, and then Yusol, the blonde one, and Yoha would be the fox. And so she's gonna be going through her life, her, let's say, personality crisis, career crisis, discovering newfound relationships, like a growing model. A lot of things happen in the meanwhile. and same time realizing her old connection with these people. And I'm not gonna spoil you further, but it's a very enjoyable game because it's like a dress-up game, and you take a lot of pictures, and you are posing, and you have these special fluffy moments with each characters. And at the same time, I feel like they become like a real friends at some point, and you start missing them, and you start wondering what each one of them doing, and you really wouldn't want to hurt any of them while communicating with them. So I will move on to the next one, which is Tears of Themis. Tears of Themis, you are playing as the protagonist Rosa, who's a lawyer herself. She goes working in a lawyer firm held by Artem, who's the black-haired guy here. He's also another really well-known lawyer. And she's gonna investigate a secret case of a drug, like a really dangerous drug called Nex. But at the same time, like that's not really her only mission. She's gonna also try to do her best to solve a variety of other criminal cases. So the game is very enjoyable in the sense that you are not a heroine that's gonna be protected. You are not gonna be always swept, get your feet swept under you because you're gonna be following the main leads. No, you have your own skills, you have your own knowledge, and you're gonna use that to make a lot of decisions, either during the small battle game that there is in the main game, or even during the trials, because the main story has a lot of big trials and you have to collect evidence and you have to pay attention to the details set by other side characters in order to solve the case. You're gonna also meet your childhood friend Luke, who's like a detective in some way, and Vane, who's like a psychologist, and Marius, who's like, let's say, sort of a rich guy who works in the art sector. But at the same time, all of these main characters have a connection to your secret case about the drag necks. So it has a very good game mechanism. It's very interesting. I don't think it was ever boring to me. I think the only challenging part is with mobile games is keeping up going. Because sometimes you're like thinking, like, oh, there is the main story, so I'm gonna focus on the main story. But then there is this side event which is time limited where you can get special cards or you can get special memories of the character and you jump on it. And then you focus on that. Like you spend days collecting the gacha items. I think that's the way the gacha games are designed. They're designed to keep distracting you and keep like projecting your efforts somewhere else. And then when once you are back to the main story, you found that there are actually many new chapters. So I hope you enjoy it. Again, this game, there is no main route or side routes. You are literally romancing everyone at any point, but of course, again, you might have preferences, and you might want to choose to know better one character over another at some point. So it's all up to you. So thank you. Have a nice day.